Philly Godfather. There you
Yep.
go. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Dan? I put you on the phone because something wrong with the laptop. I don't know what's going on. So
I got you, man. I mean, we had that problem a little bit earlier too here, so we're all good. How's it been going so far? Hey, you're killing it, ain't you?
Michigan, baby, go blue. We want some big money on Michigan. I gave it to you guys at the beginning of the season. I know a lot of Philly fans didn't like me early in the year, but with all the money we made you guys got to love it.
Absolutely, man. You've had a gigantic year. I mean, massive winners everywhere. Dude, how well did you do in college this year?
During the season, it was a little choppy early. We got strong late, but all the college football futures came in. Michigan at 9-1, Jaden Daniels at 12-1 to win the Heisman. Penn State over 9.5 wins. Washington to win the Pac-12 at 5-1. So we made some money.
All right, I'm going to do some prop bets first before we do anything when it comes to the playoff games on Saturday, Sunday, and of course Monday night. First and foremost, prop bet. On Tuesday morning, will Nick Sirianni be the head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? What say you?
Man, I'd say no. I say no.
So okay. How about this? $100. Is that a fair bet? Could you you give me 3-1 on that or 2-1? What is it?
No, I'd say it's even money. It's an even money. Bet. I know a lot of the coordinators are gone. I already know that for a fact. I got in some information. A lot of coordinators are out the door. It's a done deal already.
Okay. Dallas Goedert, 7 catches in the game on Monday night. Over, under.
Man, it's a lot of catches. I would say under.
Because there's a chance that, here's this, 49% chance that A.J. Brown plays in that game on Monday night.
Yeah, I could have swore I saw him on the back of a milk cart. He's been missing.
How about this one? Jalen Hurts, over, under, 208 passing yards.
Man. I would say under. I mean, that finger, is he 100%? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to this one. Miami, Isaiah Pacheco, over, under, 88.5 rushing yards.
Ooh, it's a lot. Bad weather games.
Really shitty weather.
Yeah, they said it's going to feel like it's negative 30 degrees with the wind chill factor in that game. That's cold. It's a lot of yards. I'd say under.
Baker Mayfield, over, under, 234.5 passing yards.
How about over 275 alternate line?
Woo!
Dan, he's got way better numbers than Jalen Hurts this season. He's played his ass off. And as much as Jalen Hurts, people love Jalen Hurts, and he looked great last year. This year, Baker Mayfield has been the better quarterback.
Can you say that again one bit for me? One more time. So, no, here it is. 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, only 10 picks, and a higher quarterback rating.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts is a turnover machine this season, let's be honest.
So Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback in 2023 than Jalen Hurts.
This year, absolutely. It's a fact.
All right. Rams at Lions, Stafford, over, under, 273.5.
That's right there. I lean towards the over.
Stafford going back home, too. How about this one? The legendary Joe Flacco, over 37 passing attempts.
Yeah, I think so. Since he became the starter, they're averaging 28 points per game. I mean, he's been airing the ball out, and offensively, they're pretty healthy now going to the playoffs. Defensively, still a little banged up. Yeah, I could see that happen.
Just so you know, just to keep a score here about AJ Brown, excuse me. He deleted all of his Eagle stuff off of his social media, and I've been told by the Generation X guys and people that, it's kind of what he does as he gets ready for the playoffs. He deleted his Twitter account and all Eagle things related, getting ready for the Buck game.
I know there's been some issues there, so, I don't even comment on that, man. I just hope he plays for the Eagles fans' sake.
DeAndre Swift, 62 rushing yards, over, under.
They're going to need him to run the ball. I would say over.
Devontae Smith, over under 62 yards.
He's banged up. I mean, his speed ain't going to be there. He's got a high ankle sprain. I'd say under.
All right, let's go into the games now. Wild card weekend. Let's start with the first game on NBC. Cleveland at Houston. Houston's defense has played a lot better. Cleveland has the best defense in the NFL. Jim Schwartz, by the way, has been named the assistant NFL coach of the year. They have done a great job. Kevin Stefanski's had 5 different quarterbacks. Flacco has like 4 or 5 straight 300-plus passing games. They've been able to run the ball. They get after people. This game, I'll tell you, man, Stroud has really showed me a lot. They run the ball well. Their defense has played really well. How do you look at this?
I mean, they've exceeded all expectations. He's missed 2 games on the season, and they still end up winning 9 games, which is huge for that Texans team, and looks good for their future. But every time they stepped up this season in competition, they lost. They lost to the Browns. Obviously, they didn't play that game. They lost to the Ravens. Who did they beat? They beat the Buccaneers. They beat the Steelers. But at that time, those offenses
Hey, Philly Godfather, let's reconnect here a little bit here if you can. Can you kind of punch it up here for us? Because you're getting
Can you hear me now?
Here. See if we can
can you hear me
back
there?
up here again here a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Cleveland, Houston. I like the Browns in this one here going into Houston, even though I think Houston has been playing some really great ball. They ended up winning, obviously, the AFC South going down the stretch here. But Joe Flacco's played some really great ball here. So what do you say here, man? How do you like this Cleveland-Houston game?
Yeah, every time the Texans stepped up in competition this year, they lost. They lost to the Ravens. They lost to the Browns. They beat 2 quality teams on the season. They beat the Buccaneers and Steelers. But at the time, those teams weren't really scoring a lot of points. A little bit of a letdown spot after a big emotional win last week, which was really a playoff game for the Texans. I like the Browns here. You got Flacco, who's got experience in the playoffs, Super Bowl ring. You got Jim Schwartz, who's got a ring experience. Too much experience on the Browns here to lose this game. Texans are still a young team. I like the Browns here on the money line.
This game going in now to Kansas City now, like you said, supposedly it's going to be insane weather here. I don't really see a lot of footballs being passed around a lot. I see a lot of running. And if that's the case here, Miami has a better running attack because they got better running backs. And if they don't throw the ball, I don't know, man. I think this game is low scoring. And how do you see this game?
Yeah, it opened up, 3.5? It's up to 5 now. I think it's a field goal game. I think Miami's got a chance to actually win this game outright. I think Miami's the right side here. They can run the ball better. You're going to have horrible weather, and everyone's giving up on this team. And last time I checked, I talked to guys in Vegas and Costa Rica. The whole world's betting the Kansas City Chiefs, and I never want to be on the public side. I like Miami here plus the points.
See, I think Miami's got the better running attack, and I like Miami going into this game too as well. I got Miami in this game. I think Miami goes in there and upsets them.
They definitely got a shot, man. I mean, anytime the betting public's so heavily on one side, you got to pause and reflect. You got to really pump your brakes because you never want to be on the public side when they're betting the game so overwhelmingly. When you see 70, 75% of the tickets being placed on one side. Miami's the better running team. You got bad weather, and I always tell people all the time, in bad weather games, the dogs always lie.
Yeah, I'm going, and just so everyone knows, I'm taking Cleveland over Houston as well. Sunday games, 65 mile-an-hour winds are going to be up there in Buffalo and Orchard Park. To me, I think that pushes Pittsburgh closer because they got Najee Harris. They run the ball. They don't really want to put the ball in the air with Mason Rudolph. Buffalo won a game the other week when they, 15 passes they only threw against the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be another one of those weather games where you see, I think, a low-scoring game and a lot of running. Is that how you see this? Yeah,
total opened up at 42, 43. It's down to 33 points. So they're not expecting a ton of points here. You can grab 10 points still in some of the markets. It had reached as high as 10.5. Now it's starting to drop back down to 9, 10, 8.5, depending on where you bet. I mean, both teams can run the ball, effectively, and Pittsburgh ranks 4th in turnover margin, while Buffalo ranks 12th. Pittsburgh's good at holding on to a ball, and in a game like this, the team with the better turnover margin usually, hangs close. I know they're missing Watt, which is big, but I like Pittsburgh here if you can grab plus 10 points.
So 33 points is the number. I would say so. They're looking at maybe like 18, 16, 20 to 14 kind of ball game somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you have 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, it's hard to throw the ball. And Josh Allen has a monster arm, and his legs are definitely going to help Buffalo here. So I don't think they lose the game, but I think it's a lot closer than what the bookmakers think.
Green Bay at Dallas. Here's your boys. I'll tell you what, man, this guy Jordan Love, last 8 games or 7 games, whatever it is, he's got 17 touchdowns and 1 pick. I'll tell you what, he's been lighting it up, man. He looks awful good the last 2.5 months. This talk about another guy who had a better year than Hurts. He had a better year than Hurts. He threw for over $4,000 himself, 30 touchdowns plus. I mean, Dallas has won 16 consecutive games going back to last year. How do you see this ball game?
I mean, there was a couple 7.5s out in the market. It opened 7 and went to as high as 7.5. And then some sharp money came in and took Green Bay plus 7.5. I actually think if you tease the Cowboys down to a pick 'em in a 7-point teaser with the Buccaneers at plus 10, I think you can cash a ticket that way. Dallas is tough at home, and I know Green Bay's been playing great all season, especially down the stretch. But at home, the Cowboys are a different type of team. They're a monster. I'm not looking to lay the 7 points or take the 7 points, and that's why I put them into a teaser where you can get basically Dallas at a pick 'em.
Rams at Detroit. Interesting ball game here. Stafford goes home. Goff plays against his former team that he took to a Super Bowl. Boy, I tell you what, man, Detroit's a good football team, and the Rams are playing some really good ball, and they're a well-coached football team. This could be one of the most interesting games of the weekend.
Yeah, the Rams have been able to hang around with some pretty good teams this year. But if you look at their schedule, they're just 1-6 against playoff teams this season. And anytime they played an offense that ranked in the top 10 in yards per play, they're 0-4. They lost to the 49ers, lost to the Cowboys, lost to Green Bay, and lost to Baltimore in overtime, which was a close game. But if you guys remember that Baltimore game, Baltimore was missing like half their team. So I kind of like Detroit here at home. I like them on the money line. If you get anything below that key number of 3, the whole world's betting the Rams. As of right now, like almost 70% of the action is on the Rams in Vegas, in AC, and Costa Rica. So the public's in love with this Rams team. They've been playing great football down the stretch. I like Detroit here.
Me too. I like them at home too. And here we come. Monday Night Football, baby. Your Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, live from Raymond James. Lot on the line here come Monday night, boy. I'll tell you what, the city of Philly will be on fire if this thing goes one way.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Early action, most of the tickets are on the Eagles, so the rest of the country hasn't given up on this team. I know a lot of people in Philly have. Line opened up 2.5. It's up to 3. Right on that key number of 3. I mean, when you take a deep look into these teams this season, I mean, like I said earlier, Baker Mayfield's been playing better than Jalen Hurts. The Buccaneers have the better defense. They've given up 103 less points on this season. They have the better point differential. They're at home. They're a lot healthier too. They got a +7 SIC health score, better than the Eagles, going into this matchup. So they're the much healthier team, and health is so big going into the playoffs. I like Tampa Bay here, man. I think the wrong team's favorite. I think Tampa Bay wins this game.
Excuse me. Hey, you choked me up a little
Yeah,
bit here.
you know what I've been hearing all week, Dan? That the Eagles are going to turn it off. There's a turn on, turn off switch, imaginary turn on switch that exists in the NFL, and they're just going to turn it on, and they're going to go out there and they're going to play their asses off. And if you can find me that turn on switch, let me know, because I need it in a couple other areas. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell you this. What people want you to do is they want you to ignore what you've seen for the last month and a half. And you can't ignore it.
No.
I'm going to make a point to you here. Get this. If Tampa Bay right now and their coaches and Bruce Arians is sitting here, I'm going to give you a little insight here. So I spoke to Bruce Arians last night. And you know what Bruce Arians said? Hey, James, our IT guy, you could quote me on this. You know what he said? We score first.
I believe it. I mean, they got more playmakers on offense. If AJ don't play, who's going to cover those guys? You might as well go over yardage and every receiver on the Tampa Bay team for this game.
The Bucks believe if they score first, the Eagles will quit.
I believe it. I mean, I think they already quit on the season. Look at them last week against the Giants. Told you guys, it's getting ugly, man. It's going to get a lot uglier too.
All right, I've got some other. Give me your predictions on this. Bill Belichick. Where does he coach in 2024?
I don't know if he's going to coach. He's 71 years old. I mean, is it a good idea hiring someone that old to be,
He's 12 wins away from Shula.
Yeah. Well, if Dallas craps the bed and loses, you might see him in Dallas. It'd be nice to have him in Philly, but again, I mean, he's 71 years old. I think it's time to go retire for Bill, man. Let's be honest. He's done enough. What else does he have to do? Like, there's nothing left to do.
So it's time to put him out the pasture.
Yeah. The game's changed. And listen, I love Bill, but without Brady, he hasn't really done anything, And I'm not trying to knock the guy, but I'm just stating the facts.
Yeah, but I want to show you something on that, and I think you'll have an appreciation on what I'm going to show you here with that. I wrote some of these numbers down here, and check this out. These are some of the greatest coaches in the history of the National Football League that were at the end of their time, and I wrote it down. And here, let me bring it up. I put it on Twitter. When I looked at George Halas, I looked at Tom Landry, and I think I looked at Belichick, and I looked at how well those guys all did in their final 5 seasons, and it came out to be kind of the same. These are guys with like over 20 years, that went out there and their last 5 years, and these are 20-year guys. And I wrote this down. Here's Don Shula's record the last 5 years, 47-33, which was better than I thought. Halas's record was 37-28. Belichick is 41-42. And Landry's 36-43. That's nothing to write home about with any of those guys. And those guys are the 4 greatest coaches in the history of the game next to Lombardi. So, I mean, I think if you stay too long, you get villainized a little bit here. Don't you think? Don't you agree?
Yeah, a little bit. And who was the oldest coach?
I agree with you on the 71-year-old thing.
Yeah, I mean, the oldest coach to win a Super Bowl, I think it was Arians, right? He was 68 when he won it with Tampa Bay in 2020. Yeah. And George Halas was 68 also, I think, when he won a championship.
Yeah.
But over the last 4 years, I think Belichick's numbers are like 29-38.
Yeah.
So, he's got nothing to prove. He's a great defensive mind. Won Super Bowls with the Giants. When he went to the Browns, wasn't a great head coach, but that Browns organization didn't do nothing to help him. And at the end of the day, every head coach needs their quarterback. Andy Reid needed Patrick Mahomes, or else he would have never had a ring. Brady's got Belichick. So all these great coaches, they still need a great quarterback to get them over that hump. And now that he's gone, Tom Brady ain't walking through that door again. So, unless he goes to the Cowboys, where that team's kind of set up defensively, offensively, the nucleus on their offensive line, defensive line, some of the best in the NFL. You got Dak this year, who had the best numbers of any quarterback in the league. Then maybe, he's got a shot to win another one. But I don't know how that's going to work out between him and Jerry Jones.
Does Pete Carroll coach again? He's actually a year older than what Bill Belichick is. But the way his departure, that would look like it shocked him. The Seattle Seahawks moved on from him because he didn't look very happy way out the door. And he wants to coach again. He's got a lot of energy. And I don't know, man. I mean, both these coaches look like they have energy, but still, I'm with you. I mean, so let's just say you're going to be there 5 years. So what? You're going to be there until you're 76? What are you, Joe Biden?
Yeah, it's too much.
Right? I mean, Joe Biden can't find a ramp. Yeah, and I'm going to sit here and think these guys are going to be able to, coach until they're 76. I don't know,
Yeah, it's time to call it quits. And Pete Carroll's a young, what's he, 72 or 73?
72.
He's more vibrant. He runs around. And what he did with Geno last year, I mean, I still think Pete Carroll would be a good idea. Bill Belichick, not so much.
Where do you think Mike Vrabel goes?
Wherever he goes, that team's going to be really lucky. I mean, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL.
Did you hear why they let him go in Tennessee?
No.
So check it out. So do you remember, like, there was an off week that they were honoring some of the past Patriots. Of course, he played there as a player, and the owner, she's a woman. I think she's Bud Adams' like wife or something, or daughter or whatever it is. She's now in control, and she had a cow with the fact that he was there in the box with Bob Kraft, and that led to some of the demise because they were like thinking he was never on their radar because they had that in Mayo's contract. If Bill ever stepped down, they had a plan in place to replace Bill right away. So he was never in that. So they let that guy walk. In the last couple of years, think of this. You let A.J. Brown and now Mike Vrabel walk out the building. No wonder you suck.
No, they're in trouble. That franchise is in trouble. I mean, if you look at Mike Vrabel's numbers, second half adjustments, second half scoring, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL over recent years. They made a big mistake letting him go. Whoever gets him is going to be really lucky. I hope he comes to Philly.
2 years ago, he was the NFL Coach of the Year in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's how great he is. All right. Since you won a ton of money on this guy, Jim Harbaugh. Now here, think about this now. Let's put this out here. So Jim Harbaugh's got a contract on the table right now that will pay him an excess of $15 million a year at Michigan. Okay? Wow. $15 million. The highest paid coach in the NFL was Belichick, along with Sean Payton at $20 million. So you're a college coach. You only answer to the president. You don't answer to anybody else. You hire your own coaches. You are head of your own personnel. You make your own schedule. You have all of that. Do you really tell me? And people go like this, well, he wants the honor of, the Super Bowl trophy. This guy was a 17-year NFL guy, and he was massively successful as a coach in the NFL. You're like me, Philly Godfather. I don't give a shit about toys. I care about direct deposits.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, it's about direct deposits, not trinkets.
Yeah, if I'm Harbaugh, I'm not leaving. Why would you leave? He's got it made. There's nothing to prove for him. I mean, he was a great NFL coach, great college football coach. I would stay. I don't see him leaving.
You think were you shocked with Alabama and with Saban?
Yeah, because the guy where's he from? North Dakota or something? He's out in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah. I
don't know if those guys down there in the SEC are going to respect him. I don't know if he's going to be able to get those. I'm not sure about that hire, man. I'm really not.
My friend, once again, so how are you usually in the postseason?
I mean, we've had a lot of winning seasons in the playoffs. We don't win every playoff, but every playoff game. But we do the best, man. It's all about getting as much information as possible, making an educated guess, and trying to beat that 52.4%. The VIG, you're laying 110 to 100, and we're just trying to win some more than lose. And we've done a great job over the last 35 years. This is what we do. This is how I eat. This is my business. So this is, we do okay.
Last thing out the door, tell them again, Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, this season, Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback. He's better than Jalen Hurts. That's a fact. Can't argue.
Tell people how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. You can stop by the PhillyGodfather.com. And we got our show every Thursday night. We live streaming on my Twitter account. We're on SiriusXM, channel 159, Sports Grid TV, and JAKIB Sports on YouTube.
Punching out of here. See you later, my brother. I got you, man. All good. That's great. The Philly Godfather. Baker Mayfield, baby. Better than Hurts. Yeah. Oh, boy. No good. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.